History tells us about wars, about battles, victories, defeats, but there is a place history only whispers about, because saying its name out loud feels like a crime. Unit 731. It didn't look like a prison. It didn't look like a battlefield from the outside. It was a research facility. Clean buildings, white lab coats, the promise of scientific progress, but inside, what unfolded was a nightmare beyond human comprehension. People were no longer called people. They were called logs, men, women, children, Chinese civilians, prisoners of war. Even infants who never learned to speak before they became subjects, all were kept alive. All conscious. The doctors that didn't ask how to save a life, they asked how long a life could suffer. They systematically froze limbs, then shattered them with hammers just to study the process of decay. They deliberately infected lungs, bloodstreams, and eyes with deadly pathogens. Then cut bodies open without any anesthesia to observe the disease as progression while the heart was still beating. Some were strapped down and injected with the plague. Others were exposed to horrific chemical agents to see how quickly skin would peel away from bone, to time how long the screaming lasted. To document precisely how death arrived, pregnant women were forced to carry experiments inside. Their own bodies, their babies dissected before they could even take a second breath. And when all the data was meticulously collected, the bodies were burned, the names were erased, the evidence was destroyed. Not one single test subject is known to have survived, not one. As the Second World War came to an end, the world expected the truth to come out. It didn't. The scientists of Unit 731 were never punished for their crimes against humanity. Instead, their horrific research was traded for immunity, their crimes were buried, and their countless victims were forgotten. There are no graves. There was no justice. There is no memorial big enough to hold the screams that echoed through those halls. So, remember this story? The most terrifying monsters in history did not hide in the shadows with claws and fangs. They wore lab coats, they carried clipboards and took meticulous notes, and they had the audacity to call it science. This was Unit 731. And this is a voice for a history that some tried to silence forever. Thank you for watching. If you believe these stories need to be heard, please like, share, and subscribe for more.